Miss Momita from Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College welcome you all to online teaching 2020-2021. Today we are going to study about composition of matter. First, we are going to discuss about compounds. Now, already I told you that the chemical composition of the matter is being classified into elements, compounds, and mixtures. Now, what is a compound? A substance produced by a chemical reaction of two or more elements combined in a fixed proportion is called a compound. Now coming to the various characteristics of a compound. All the molecules of a compound are alike. The constituent substance of a compound is only one, and it is that compound itself. All the molecules of the compound are of two or more types and are joined to each other by chemical bonds. The proportion of the constituent elements in a compound is constant, and the properties of a compound are different than those of the constituent elements. Now coming to the types of compounds. The types of compounds are organic compound, inorganic compound, and complex compound. Now, what are these organic compounds? A compound which, when heated strongly, gives a black colored carbon residue that is going to be referred to as organic compound. For example, like camphor, sugar, urea, carbohydrates, etc. Next, coming to inorganic compounds. The compounds which when heated strongly decompose to give a residue behind are called as inorganic compounds. For example, common salt and limestone. Last, about the complex compound. The compound, or we can say the molecules of the compound, which have a complex structure formed by many atoms, and in the center of this structure metal atoms are also included, and that is going to be referred to as the complex compound. For example, chlorophyll and hemoglobin. Now we are going to study about mixture. Now what is basically a mixture? Now when we are going to discuss about this mixture, we need to know that when two or more elements or compounds which do not react chemically with each other are mixed in any proportion, it is going to be referred to as a mixture. Now coming to the characteristics of mixture. Atoms, molecules of a mixture are two or more types. The constituent substance of a mixture are two or more elements or compounds. And the proportion of the substances in a mixture are not fixed. That means it can change. And the properties of the constituent substances are retained in the mixture. Now coming to the types of mixtures, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Now before understanding about homogeneous and heterogeneous, you need to understand what is a phase. The part of the matter with uniform composition is called phase. First, homogeneous mixture. All the components of a mixture form one phase, that is solution of sugar in water. Next, homogeneous mixture. The components of a mixture are distributed into two or more phases, that is sand and water. Now coming to solution. What exactly is solution? A homogeneous mixture of two or more substances is called as a solution. For example, like seawater, sugar syrup, etc. Now this solution has two parts, a solute and a solvent. Now coming to the characteristics of the solution. It is clear and transparent. The particles which are present in the solution are not visible to the naked eye and light can easily pass through it without scattering. Now coming to the different types of solutions. Liquid in liquid, for example, vinegar dilutes sulfuric acid. Gas in gas, that is air. Solid in solid, brass, stainless steel and bronze. Gas in liquid, that is chlorinated water. Now, as I already told you, the two parts of the solution, that solute and solvent. Now, you need to know what is a solute and what is a solvent. The component of a solution which is present in a smaller proportion is referred to as the solute, and the component of a solution which is present in the larger proportion is going to be referred to as solvent. Now coming to suspension. A heterogeneous mixture of liquid and solid is called as suspension. Now coming to the characteristics of suspension. In a suspension, the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended. The liquid and the solid components are separated by filtration. The particles are visible to the naked eye. The particles in the suspension are of very small size and this can scatter a beam of light passing through it. Now coming to the next, that is colloid. What exactly is a colloid? A heterogeneous mixture in which the particles cannot be seen with the naked eye is going to be referred to as a colloid. Now coming to the characteristics of colloid. In colloid, the particles are uniformly spread throughout the solution. The particles are not visible to the naked eye and the particles scatter a beam of light. For example, milk is a colloid. Why is it so? Because in milk, the particles are spread uniformly throughout and due to very small size of the particles, milk appears to be homogeneous. Now coming to molecular formula, the number of the atoms of each of the constituent elements present in one molecule of a compound is called as molecular formula. For example, potassium chloride. The constituent elements are potassium and chlorine and the molecular formula is KCl. Next, we are going to discuss about valency. The capacity of an element to combine with another element is known as valency. Now coming to certain instances, first potassium chloride. Potassium is the constituent element and chlorine, and the valency of potassium is 1 and chlorine is 1. The second example is sodium hydride, where sodium is the constituent element and hydrogen is the constituent element, and the valency of sodium is 1 and hydrogen is 1. Now we are going to study about the steps to write a molecular formula. There are certain steps to write a molecular formula. The first step is we need to write the symbols of the constituent elements. For example, if I am taking the example of carbon dioxide, C and O are the constituent elements. In the second step, we need to write the valency of the respective elements, that is carbon is 4, oxygen is 2. In the third step, we need to cross multiply to obtain the number of the atoms of the constituent elements. Now after this cross multiplication, in the fourth step, we write the formula of the compound, that is C2O4, which has been obtained by cross multiplication. In the last step, to find the final molecular formula of the compound, the number of the constituent atoms in a final molecular formula should be the smallest possible whole numbers. And how to get this? We can get this by dividing the formula obtained in the step 4 by a suitable number. And suppose if the formula obtained by cross multiplication is C2O4, by dividing it with C, we get CO2. So this is how we get the molecular formula. Thank you.